Hello. On this episode of the Artist Pivot podcast, I chat with Jennifer Apple, actor, acting coach, writer, and host of the Empowered Artists Collective podcast, to explore the real meaning of artistic pivoting in today's world. Jennifer shares her journey of embracing not just one path, but a multitude of creative identities. She identifies how reframing surviving as a creative into pivoting as a creative brings in opportunity and helps you settle into an abundance mindset, which has empowered Jennifer to thrive in an ever-changing industry. You'll hear about the importance of community, giving yourself permission to rest and experience joy amidst the grind, breaking down the myths of having to choose one lane as an artist, and get real about the challenges of making art sustainable, mentally, emotionally, and financially. Jennifer also dives into the origins and mission behind her own podcast and resource hub, the Empowered Artists Collective, revealing how sharing insight, reframing language, and providing support can help fellow artists create their own blueprints. Whether you're in need of motivation to keep going, looking for ways to fill your creative cup, or simply hoping to hear how another artist navigates change, this conversation is both inspiring and refreshingly practical. So grab your seltzer with a straw and get ready to pivot toward possibility. Let's dive in.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Apple, and I'm on the Artist Pivot podcast.
Come take a listen and let your inner artist play, creating your dreams step by step every day. If you're feeling lost and don't know what to do, always remember that you can pivot to the Artist Pivot. The Artist Pivot. We Audition is the video chat community where actors can audition, self-tape, rehearse, and get expert industry advice. Get instant self-tape readers through video chat, browse through the dedicated actor meditations, podcasts, and books, meet casting directors in the virtual green room, and also make money by becoming a reader for other actors. If you join We Audition and use code PIVOT, you will receive a 25% discount on your membership. Yes, that's right. We Audition and the Artist Pivot have partnered to bring you this discount. From my own experience, I love being a reader for other actors, and We Audition is so convenient for me when I need a reader myself. Again, if you join We Audition and use the code PIVOT, you will receive 25% off your membership. Link in the show notes. All right, y'all. So today on the podcast, I am so excited to say that joining me is actor, acting coach, writer, and podcast host of the Empowered Artists Collective podcast, Jennifer Apple. Hello there.
Hello, so many multi-hyphens, right? Just so many.
Yes, from the beginning. Yes.
We
live. Yes.
So glad to be here.
Yes, I'm glad to have you here. And I'm going to start with my two favorite questions.
Yeah.
So number one, how are your hydration levels today? Like, have you had enough water? And two, if I texted you and was like, Jennifer, how you doing? How you feeling? But you could only respond in emojis only.
Yes.
What would you text me?
Okay. Hydration levels could always be better. I am a seltzer queen.
Oh, yes, I love a seltzer.
Yes. And so my Soda Stream is my bestie. Mm-hmm. And I do have one of these non-labeled mugs with a straw, because if the straw isn't there, it's not going to be consumed. So
okay.
I think my face in 10 years around my mouth and muscles will be I will be mad that I did that. But the hydration levels because of that, okay. Could be better.
Right.
Yeah. And then as far as the emojis go, oh boy, they've updated it a bit. So there's some fun emojis that I feel like I actually haven't explored. Mm-hmm. But I feel like in the attempt at leaning into the gratitude and the joy, it's probably the little smiley face with those three little hearts around it, because I'm grateful to be here in this space. And I'd say there's probably a little bit of the face melting, because I feel like I'd be lying if I didn't say it feels like everything is burning, and I'm definitely feeling that. And then probably a little dreaming, sleeping person, because I'm trying to keep keep things a little chiller on the energy and not be so overly exuberant so that I can keep my own
some for
sustenance.
yourself.
Exactly. So maybe those are some of the emojis, but like if I had an ideal emoji moment, it'd be like I'd be in the mountains, there'd be some mountains and there'd be my dog, I'd have a little dog emoji and a little plane flying to all those things with my dog into mountains. But like that's not the reality yet at the moment.
Yes. Not yet. Yeah. But it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. But yes, thank you. Thank you for that imaginary text.
Love.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yes. Yes. Well, y'all, I'm excited to have this conversation today because, y'all, Jennifer has pivoted and dare I say done it quite successfully, right?
Thank you.
Are still doing it. But you have definitely picked up gems and lessons along the way and have come to the realization that I think a lot of us artists I'm going to say that, but I feel like you came to it faster by reading like your pre-interview questions, that you came to the conclusion faster than most artists, that it's like, oh no, pivoting kind of is the career. Like it's kind of the thing, right? Yeah, and so I guess we're gonna go into the deep end. Like my question is like, how did you even get to that understanding of like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
No, pivoting is the thing. This is how I stay in this industry. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna kind of come at that question, I think maybe a little bit differently, and then I swear I'll answer it.
Sure.
Is that like, arguably we all know. Like, I actually think I want to push on it. We do know. Know.
Fair.
I think there's a narrative that is taught to us starting young that like, okay, and I'm like on a mission on my own, on my podcast, with my coaching clients, with myself to like unearth and throw this, thing out the window of like the scarcity mindset of it all.
Absolutely.
Right. But with that scarcity mindset, people are taught and told from a young age, this is really hard. It's not for the faint of heart. You're going to have to do a gazillion different things in order to sustain yourself. What is your other job? Like people have taught, like it's in the ether. So the way that we've heard it hasn't been framed as pivoting. It's been framed as like a level of, trying to somehow survive. And I think that actually is the misnomer, and why I think it takes people maybe a longer period of time to maybe wrap their heads around it, because there is a level of fear, rightfully so, around an inability to survive. Know? And so when your actual survival is like correlated to the work and the art and the craft, to unravel that takes a moment. And so I think where we're doing a disservice, we're doing a disservice in many respects, but is really not labeling the verbiage in a way that really is the pivot or the multi-hyphenate or the, multi-interest or like the abundance of it, because that is the same thing, right? Like it's just the frame and the lens that we're seeing and being taught about it is like, well, you have to figure it out, or if you don't, oh God, versus like you have the opportunity as a creative, the joy of it, to be able to do many things. Like that is the thing. That is where the opportunity lies. Obviously, it comes with a level of balancing and having to be, adept and flexible. But I think it really is the verbiage. So I guess I'm answering in a way to say that like we do know, we are taught, but not framed in a way that allows us to embrace it. And then the acceptance part of it, I think, is the thing that takes so long to come to the realization of, I guess.
Right. And when I love that verbiage of you're saying we just have to reframe it, right? Like we're taught this, and the abundance of being able to do multiple things, right, is not saying that you're not committed to one thing. No. Like I remember hearing that, well, if you're not committed to musical theater, then like what are you doing, right? And it's like, But
and
again,
it has changed. Like, I don't, I don't know how old you are, but I'm imagining
38. I have no problem saying my
age.
Great.
36. Same here. So we grew up in the same, generation where it really was certainly in undergrad for me. It was like pick a lane and stick and stay there. And so, yes, this you get to, dip your toes and do many things of it all. This has been maybe in the last 10, 15 years, we are actually accepting that. Even people were doing it, but the reality of it is different.
Yeah.
But the embracing it, it's a different philosophical mindset, and hopefully one that we can start to embrace, because I don't know of any artist, truly any, and I mean this in a positive way, that does one thing. I think sometimes we feel like we have to because we've been taught we have to, but if you actually ask somebody and sat down with them, like, hey, what do you love? They're like, I love this, I love this, I love that. There's 8 things, and at minimum 2. There's never just one, because we're multifaceted people with interests.
Precisely. Yeah. Right. And I think it's also that coupled with literally just trying to make money. I also call them green coupons, right? You're also if I choose to participate in this society, I want to do it in an artistic fashion and form. And it's, again, the ideals that we're trying to break, right? Of no, I don't have to pick one thing. Yeah. I can do multiple, but also pay me. That's a whole other can of worms.
Oh my
but it's
God.
Pay, why? Okay, confusion. Why y'all not paying us?
We know why. We know why. But I do agree with you in that, I think another narrative is we've been taught, or there's an idea somehow that the money doesn't exist in the arts. But let's be clear, folks. This is a capitalist industry that is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So yes, it exists. It's just the trickle down of who is getting or who has the access to it. That's Bingo. Yes, we could have a whole other episode about that. 1,000%.
Yes, we could. Yes, we could. Because that you're just how many millions of dollars did that show make, and how much are the actors being paid?
Yep.
Oh. Yeah. Got it.
There's a lot of unearthing, and a lot of speaking up and advocating that folks could do, need to do, should do. I mean, whatever verbiage, but it's also everyone's tired, and it also is who are you actually going to, and where is the actual change to be made? And it's a question that I'm having often on the podcast, often with my friends, and it still consistently feels like an uphill climb and a battle. And then you have to remember, okay, there have been some things, but is it enough? No. Will it ever be enough? No. And is that life? I kind of want to refute that and say, no, it's not life, but it might be life here for now. I don't know.
For now, right? I think there's still a little level of delulu, as the kids say, but in a good form, right? Of no, we can solve this problem. There are ways to reconfigure this and rethink about this. And even I know it starts with us as artists, right? 1,000%. Thinking about we are worthy, we are enough, we don't have to ask permission, right? All of that. But again, we come up against that capitalist wall of okay, I want to produce my own show, but who's paying for it?
That part.
It's the balance of the two, right? And trying to find that. And even you said, everybody's tired, right? I wanted to ask you, when your moments of getting tired over the years, what has kept you going, right? What has kept you going? Okay, take a deep breath, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Go down another lane.
Yeah. What has kept me going? I ask myself this on a daily basis, if I'm being really honest. It's I'm also wondering consistently about that nature of the going, right? And how there are many ways to go. I think you could walk, you could run, you could sprint, you could fly, you could drive, you could kayak, you could, we could go in many different ways, as in move. And I think I've been trying to offer myself grace in recognizing that there are thousands of ways to move, some of which literally are just from me here at this chair to my couch, and that is enough. And also remembering that like within my body, my like breath moving in me is like sustaining me and giving me life. And that in of itself is also movement, right? And so I think there's, again, in an effort of like trying to, words hold a lot of meaning for me specifically. And I guess the way in which I understand the world. And I really do believe that most of the time people actually are all agreeing. We actually all mostly want the same things. We're just literally saying them differently and expressing them differently, and either not listening, aren't curious enough to ask follow-up questions, aren't patient enough to understand that we come at it from different life experiences and intersectionalities. But like ultimately, we really do all want the same thing. Anyway, all of which is to say, how do I keep choosing to come back? Or, you know, find the motivation to continue? I think a lot of it really is about taking stock in what feels good and checking in with myself and my gut and my community and my morals and values, frankly, and realigning myself consistently with the things that I know to be true and vulnerable and full of empathy. So, you know, if there is something that's happening in my life that I find myself on some sort of rat race or hustle and movement, and I'm starting to feel really misaligned in it, it might take me a second to calibrate, like, okay, is this just because you're tired, or is this because actually this is something that isn't really what you want to be doing?
Yeah.
And so it's been a lot of, looking inward and asking myself questions as I move through things and make choices. And I don't always get it right. And I sometimes wish maybe I made a different choice, but I also know that like I can make another choice after that choice and change it again.
Right. Right.
So that's been it. And also I think a lot of grace and self-trust in that, like, you know, I ultimately am the person living in my own body for my life. And the kinder I can try to be to myself in this body so that I can continue showing up for the things that do matter to me, the more motivation and movement I have available for myself to go into that direction. And so the more grace, rest, snuggles with my dog, and breaks. I've been building that in a lot too, of like looking at my calendar, which I live and swear and breathe by, especially as an ADD person, to like, if it's not on the calendar, it's not going to happen. But like looking in advance of like, okay, I have this pocket over here. What can I do for myself? Okay, I'm going to, you know, go away to a cabin and hike for a hot second. I'm going to go to Colorado and ski for 2 weeks if I can. I'm going to save up for, you know, a trip with some friends to go over here because this will be emotionally sustaining. I'm going to, you know, go and sit in Prospect Park with my dog and just snuggle for like 4 hours and read a book, maybe, if I choose to. And like really looking at spaces that have nothing to do with the craft and nothing to do with the art and all the things to do with my humanity and my my emotional and mental well-being, so that I can come back to it.
Yeah. Understand. Giving yourself permission to be a full human being, right?
Yes.
Like, not.
Because what are you pulling from as an artist without it? Like,
thank you.
But
thank you.
Yeah.
You're pulling from an empty cup, right?
Correct.
You're like, there's nothing to pull because there's nothing here. And I think that also ties back to like fighting the scarcity mindset, right? Because I know that people can feel, oh, I take a break, but I have to keep going. And I think that's such a lie that we were fed. No.
Yeah.
You have to take a break. You're a human being.
Yeah.
Like, go sit in the park.
Correct.
Go, wait, I got 2 days off. Don't fill those 2 days. If you have the time, please go hiking. Go.
1,000%. Touch grass. Please touch grass.
Child, touch the grass, hug a tree.
That part.
Go play on the playground. If a child doing the hopscotch, do it with them. Like,
yes, 1,000%. And I think, you know, it really makes me think about, yes, the scarcity mindset of it all, but also just like the joy, the lack of joy. Like I feel, you know, the world is so hard and things are really tough. And in some ways it feels like it keeps getting worse. And where's the bright light at the end of the tunnel? And if we are to continue showing up to create in whatever capacity we as artists choose to do, it has to, I mean, like, yes, there is, always layers of emotional trauma potentially, or baggage that we are unpacking and moving through us. And that is the gift that we have to storytell in that way. And what joy are we trying to also simultaneously bring? Like what are we capable of within ourselves, in conjunction with all of the other layers. And so without being able to like gift yourself time and space to reflect and refill that cup that you accurately mentioned, like, yes, you cannot pull from it, but also like your storytelling won't be as full as you it can be, because you have to give yourself the full spectrum of what it means to be a feeling human being.
Right. Right.
And go inward and love on that part a little bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you have to experience life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because again,
I think about myself too. Oh, go for it.
No. Go ahead.
I think about, this isn't fully related, but like the breaks of it all, I say this phrase more often than not, but like, you are an artist, whether you are working or not, like truly, like your work is not related to art. That is not the thing. Like the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you wear your clothing, the way you, like, that is an artistic expression because you are an artist, period. Like the work that you book and the job that you book and the money that you're making from that art, that again, like moves it into, rightfully so, it's your job in theory, but it's the capitalist part of the artistry. Yeah. And I think about it, like when I went and chose to go back to get my MFA, I had a huge fear around the fact that I was like, oh my God, I chose to go in San Francisco and to the American Conservatory Theater, ACT. And when I chose to leave New York to go to get my MFA, it was like, oh my God, I'm going to leave and no one's going to remember me for these 3 years that I'm in grad school. I'm like, it seems like I'm taking a break from the industry here that the momentum that I've built, which is, first of all, inaccurate. I'm literally going to be studying the craft in an incubator that like I'm in it every single day. Like, let's be clear, it's actually more intense than it has been prior when you've been working professionally. But that aside, there was this real fear around like this break that I'm taking from New York, for example. And when I tell you, I came back to New York after 3 years and it was like no time had passed.
Nothing changed.
Literally nothing really changed. Everybody remembered me and everything that I've done. It literally felt like yesterday. The concept of time is amorphous, and we need to remember that like a break might feel like some time for you, but no one really remembers it. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine in a audition holding room at an in-person audition, which felt insane. And I was like, oh my God, it's so weird, but it seems like you're doing so well from social media. And she's like, no, I've only worked like once last year. I was like, what do you mean? It seems like you like booked like 800 shows. She's like, no, that was just last year. I was like, okay, well, whatever you're doing, the optics of it to me makes it seem like you're working all the time. The reality of what we perceive versus what we feel versus what we think is like completely different.
Yes.
So just like the break of it all, take a break. Please take a break. Come back, because then you're choosing to come back with like an actual reason and a purpose,
right?
As opposed to like feeling like you have to because the sunk cost of I've been here for so long.
That part. That part. I think there's also that of like, I have put in too much time to give up, right? But I think there is wisdom in taking a break.
Yes.
That doesn't mean you're giving up. That literally means you're taking a break. Yeah. Whether I'm giving myself 6 months, I'm giving myself a year, 2 years, whatever it is. My intention is to go back. Yeah. That's my North Star, is to re-enter, right? But take a break.
But even in that break, you're not fully like, people aren't giving themselves like, they're not affirming the fact that in that break, they're still thinking about it. They're reflecting on it. They're like potentially like talking to people and getting things in motion, even if they're not active. Like, it's still movement. It is just different movement. And it's so the idea of this break, let's say you get a 9 to 5 that has nothing to do with artistry. You think that you're sitting at the chair not thinking about the things that you just spent your past 3 years doing, or looking at some of your friends who are in a show and thinking to yourself, I wouldn't want to do that kind of thing, but I really love that. Like, you don't think that you're reflecting on the things that you're observing or reflecting on the things that you've done? Of course you are. And you're probably making a lot of money and have health insurance for a year. So like, get it.
Right. Exactly. It's that, right? But I also think that gives you choice.
Correct.
If you're like, well, I'm not chasing after the next thing. I'm actively choosing this because A, B, and C, I get a paycheck, I get this, I get that. Great. But that benefits you still.
1,000%.
As a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that'll also help you like ideate things, right? And think about things in a new way. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should continue writing that play that I was writing. Or maybe I should I think it literally brings down your cortisol levels, right? It brings down your temperature. You can think.
There's perspective.
There's
perspective. And then there's agency. And in an industry and frankly, often a world where it feels like we have a lack of agency, that break you gave yourself, you gifted to yourself. You chose that for yourself so that insert whatever here that you knew you needed to give yourself. Like what a gift.
Yes.
What a gift. Again, it's the reframe. Like, oh no, I have to I need a break. Okay. What a gift you've chosen to take some time for you to be with yourself, to choose to come back, to decide if you even want this hustle. And also remembering that like to be a professional artist doesn't mean like that's a very different thing than doing art because you love it.
Yes.
Right? Like when people come at people being like, ugh, like I can't do community theater. Why? That is joy. You don't need to be, this is true. You show up because you want to be there. You are making friends in your community. You are like performing because you love it. You are getting affirmed in a space that is truly just about like community and being seen and enjoying your time.
Right.
Like that for me is like going back to the playground that you were talking about as a kid and being like, I loved this. And now I get to love it too as an adult versus this is my job and I have to wake up at X hour and stay up until X hour in order to, produce this thing that may or may not get seen, that may or may not get the feedback that it needs, that may or may not, that may or may not, that may or may not, that may or may not. And that's the job. Yeah. And then you lose the joy. I mean, I don't know. I know it's like, I'm like heady and existential about it all, but it's just like, you don't have to make it your job if it's making you miserable.
Yeah.
And you are still an artist if you choose to find different ways for you to express yourself.
Right.
That have nothing to do with you getting an income financially from the art that you procure, create, I'm a part of.
Right. Right. Correct. Yep. And I think that's like sitting in that, you're like, oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. But that is something I think we have to learn, right? If we talk about when we were in college and like, oh, if you're making this your career, then you have to do X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I actually don't. What if we just go back to the joy of it? I like doing this because it makes me happy.
And
like, let's unlink it. And not saying that you can't, right? Like, if you so choose to, good for you. Yeah. Good for you. But not not beating yourself up, right? If you're like, okay, I think I have to separate the two.
That's the part that I think so many artists struggle with, myself included sometimes.
And me too.
And also arguably like why people don't take, say, the break or don't choose to migrate their artistry into different pockets because that we have made that part of ourselves so much our identity.
Yeah.
And so when you say, okay, well, now I'm shifting my identity, that takes a lot of growth and a lot of patience and community and holding and perhaps grieving around the who you are or who you were versus who you thought you'd be. And that isn't something that can happen overnight. And it certainly isn't something that can happen in a vacuum. And it can be really, really devastating. Yeah. And arguably the like sitting in it and the decision to choose the joy or choose the curiosity or choose the unknown is so scary. Yeah. And that is what keeps people in the rat race for far longer than they really wanted to be there because they felt that they had to and didn't know how to choose otherwise. And that always breaks my heart. That really breaks my heart.
Yeah. Yeah. Because in essence, they were kind of putting themselves in needless suffering.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you didn't need to do that.
And they know that too. And it's just like, because you're told in the industry and it's like the pressure to stick with the thing, even though it's like, I think that for me is like the thing that when I coach young artists, and I'm really like in the play of it, the mess of it, the process of it, as much as I can continue instilling in them and reminding them of like, again, the joy, but also their agency. And I certainly do this with like people who have been in the industry for a long time too, you know, but there's I feel a sense of responsibility for younger folks who haven't lived that long and experienced the hardship in the same way, perhaps, that I can be like, hey, you actually don't have to suffer. You really don't. Right. Or we can try to mitigate the kind of suffering that you will be experiencing because you actually can do it in any of these ways. Have we thought about this? What about this? Or that? Or, you know, like, let's think about it in a different way. That's abundant mindset rather than scarcity.
Right. Heard, right?
Yeah.
Abundant mindset. And also you made me think about, I am someone who truly believes of moving in silence, right? And to me, that's not saying not to have community. To me, that's saying you have a small community of people you tell these things, right? Like moving in silence means I can probably count on my one hand how many people know exactly the moves I'm making, right? And so even with thinking about taking a break per se, you don't have to tell that to the whole world. You tell it to your inner circle, right? You tell it to 1,000%. The people who know the struggle you're going through. And then that's it, right? Like to help, I think, mitigate the, oh, well, what are people going to think? They're not going to think nothing because they're not going to know nothing.
It's your choice. It's totally your choice. 1,000%. I had a client this past audition cycle for the MFA audition cycle. That's a lot of like, I do BFA, MFA audition stuff because I do this thing called monologue sourcing where people like come to me to find monologues and then they usually, you know, use me to coach said monologues. And this one client who I did monologue sourcing for a bit ago came back to me and she's like, I want to coach for my MFA. No one knows, including my boyfriend. And I was like, Okay. Great. It's our little secret. And, you know, I have my own thoughts about it because I do feel for me, I'm like, the more one can express it, the more it comes out and the more we're full. But like, I'm not here to judge it and I'm here to support it however. And for her to be able to have this thing for herself that she was just like doing for herself was what she needed. And I think it really, to know yourself best. It's like some people really do need to like shout it from the rooftops, I'm trying these things or I'm going to do this. And then they're held accountable for it. And then there are other folks that are like, I need to like protect my peace and I need to keep it, you know, contained within my little security bubble. Neither is right or wrong. It's what's right for you. I love that.
Precisely. Because it is those, some people need the accountability, right? Of like, and I've had accountability partners in and out of my life where it's like, no, I need you to be like, so Ayana, did you do it? Like, I gave myself these 6 months to do this. Yeah, I need you to be on my back. I do. Because if not, I'm not going to get it done. Right?
Correct.
But then there are moments where like, no, I got this. I can do it. And I'm going to do it and be like, here you are. My friends are like, what? Oh, yeah, I did it. Right?
Exactly.
For me, it depends on what it is. I'm like, somebody needs to be on my back because it's not going to get done.
But you know that about yourself. Correct. You know? And that, what a beautiful knowing. And then you can support yourself however you need.
Yes. Exactly. And I wanted to ask you about your podcast and this community you've also like developed. So like, how did you come up? How did you ideate the idea of your podcast, come up with it, and like grow your community?
So the Empowered Artist Collective first started as an incubator program in fall of 2020. I had, I guess, like dialing back a bit, I went to get my MFA. I was coaching and teaching one-on-one, and again, doing mostly BFA, MFA, monologue sourcing for these clients. Then I went on the Band's Visit first national tour. COVID shut that down. And while I was on tour with the Band's Visit, I was teaching master classes and workshops around the country. And so when the shutdown happened, I really pivoted virtually to teaching again with my one-on-one clients and also in these master classes and workshop spaces online. And I had this moment during that summer, 2020 pandemic summer, of like, okay, all of these artists are focusing on their craft, and I'm grateful to be a part of that. And yet, pretty much every single one of them, myself included, do not have any of the like life and business skills to actually sustain this craft. And it was like this aha moment that wasn't anything remarkable, because it's like, I know that for my own self coming out of undergrad and doing this as, you know, a career or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, well, why are we not actually giving these resources to folks? And so me and my then co-founder started the Empowered Artists Collective as an incubator that was virtual, that we ran for a year and a half, internationally for women and non-binary artists. We ran 5 cohorts that were like 2.5, 3 months each, that essentially had these panels, workshops, accountability, art shares, all about the like life and business stuff. So it's just like the emotional things about like, you know, shame, imposter syndrome, how do you balance your multi-hyphenates, activism as an artist, like the stuff that everyone's grappling with, but no one wants to talk about, or, you know, budgeting, taxes for artists, mental health and wellness, you know, the like not pretty things that no one really wants to talk about. And so we were having these kinds of panels and workshops, and we ran that for a year and a half. My co-founder stepped away to start her family. And then at this point, the pandemic was like endemicing, and no one really wanted to be in the Zoom space for this many hours. And we were having these incredible conversations essentially behind closed doors. And it was like, okay, well, this is a community about like growth and abundance and giving resources and not gatekeeping. Let's not do that anymore. And so, yeah, we pivoted to the podcast. I guess this was, let me do some math, 2020, spring 2022. Okay. And we are currently in our 3rd season. And the mission remains the same. Arguably, it's gotten even more intense about like the detailing of it all, but really pulling back the curtain, trying to remove the gatekeeping, truly being like the resource that I wish I had when I first started out. So if you want to know about like grant writing, there's an episode for you. You want to listen to a lawyer talk about like protecting your stuff, there's an episode for you. You want to like know how to direct or choreograph or be an artistic director or like or anything in the tech department. I've interviewed all these different positions, in front, behind, below, above, just to really give a full plethora of experiences of what's possible and resources for artists to create these thriving and sustainable careers. It feels very, very mission based for me in really being a space and a community and a tool that I never had. And arguably, like so many of us, like we go into these various, school settings or whatever university, and you think like, okay, it's like I get to either be a stage manager, a director, or an actor. And it's like, or in tech. But like there are the micro little movements from like all of these like are wild, and we don't even know that they exist. And then these people are doing them. And so to even know that it exists, I'm really proud of it. I think it's awesome. Obviously, that's why I keep doing it. And I've gotten to meet some incredible people and talk to some beautiful folks who are just like full of knowledge and experience that I don't have, but I get to give a platform to them to share. And it just feels like a real deep privilege that that I get to do. And so that's the Empowered Artists Collective podcast.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love that. I'll make sure to get all of your handles and everything at the end of the episode so that everybody can get in contact with you. Yeah, everybody can tune in. And while you were saying that, it kind of came up for me of like, I'm very, I could say proud and like excited that you're doing that, because it's one of those things of like, we all have to realize nobody knows what they're doing.
That part, screaming from the back, scream it from the back.
Like nobody knows what they're doing.
Correct. Which arguably is like freeing if you really take it into account. If no one knows.
It's overwhelming to me personally. Yes. Right? I have to but nobody has the blueprint.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. No, it's fine. Jeez Louise. But yes, I could see how people are like, oh, it's freeing. I could do whatever I want. Yes. Right. But also I think with that, if nobody really knows, take little bits of information from all of the people, right, that you interview and talk to and get to share space with. It's like, oh, I'll take a nugget from them. I'll take a nugget from them. Oh, and create your own blueprint, right? Which I'm so here for creating my own blueprint, but sometimes I'm like, Lord, please, can I get 5 steps ahead? Because my brain.
Well, I think I'm 1,000%. I guess I hear you. When I say freeing, I mean that there's no right way to do it.
Fair.
I think for me that's when I refer to it as that, because the overwhelm of if no one else knows and I don't know, then who knows? And where do I go?
Right.
That part, that's why the podcast exists. But but really wanting to get it right or know, that is the thing that unfortunately we'll never know. And because of that, yes, the picking and choosing, I think about that again, as I teach, and I think I got this from my MFA, certainly, that it wasn't a specific kind of it wasn't just Stanislavski. It wasn't just Meisner. I didn't just learn one thing. I learned a huge variety of, various influences and styles and whatever as an artist, for example, that then now I find for myself, I'm picking and choosing the way in which I'm showing up within my craft. Same thing when I coach and teach, where it's if I think about my method, which people have asked me, I guess I have certain things that I'm definitely I do this a lot of whatever it is, but it doesn't come from a specific thing. And I think that was the best piece of advice that I was given from a mentor early was if somebody comes at you and they say that they know and they say that their way is the only way or this is the only way, run. And maybe this was the rebellious part in me that really resonated with it. But the more I sit with it, the takeaway from that is really as you're saying, no one knows. So if somebody claims to be the thing, then there's ego involved and something involved there that actually has nothing to do with you. But if somebody's hey, I can offer you my knowledge.
Yes.
Take what works, leave what doesn't. Cherry pick. If this is not your vibe, please, I would love to find you a place that actually is. I have 800 friends who do this thing in 8 different ways. Let me connect you to those people. Find the thing that does work so that you can then create your little blueprint. But the making sure that there's the one way and that person's diatribe or that no. Yep. No.
It doesn't exist.
I know.
It doesn't.
I know.
It doesn't. And that, A plus B does not equal C in this industry. That's never going to happen.
And we want it to, because we really want to make sense of it. We want to be okay, well, they went to this school and they went to this school and now they're there. Or they study with this person and then they study with this person and then they booked this thing. Or they booked this thing at this theater and then it seemed like they booked that. So if I do that, then this, and it won't.
It won't. We're here to tell you right now, it won't. I'm sorry to tell you, it won't.
Yeah.
It won't.
I know. But that's hard. It's hard because we want in a chaotic industry, in a chaotic world, you want something to make sense and you want something to be deliberate and clear. And reframing again that lack of consistency or structure as something that you then get to choose from where you want to fill your time and your energy and your space and your resources, then there is something about then going back inward and trusting your gut and cultivating that muscle in a way that no one else has any control over other than you.
No. Precisely, right? Because there's so many external factors to this, to any industry, to the world, really, right?
Yes.
But if we're focusing on our industry, there's so many external factors. So if you gift yourself the moment to be now I have to listen to my internal factors.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard.
Yes.
But so good. And empowering.
Yes.
To just even and I don't know, it's a little offering and a nugget, I feel I just think on my own podcast.
Because I was going to ask you. So perfect. This is a perfect segue. You segued right into it.
A little nugget, a takeaway is it doesn't have to be big, right? I think about things as micro movements. I've been doing this gratitude 5-minute journal for oh my God, wait. Let me do some math here. I started 2021, over 4 years.
Okay.
For 4 years, I've not missed a single day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do it at the end of the day because maybe whatever, but I've not missed a single day. And I will say that the way in which I view the world has shifted. There is science. I don't know if it relates directly to this gratitude journal or my life or therapy or whatever, but there is, the prompts of it are the same. They have been for 4 years, every single day. It's 3 things you're grateful for, 3 things I would make today, great, essentially 1 daily affirmation. And then at night, it's 3 highlights of the day and 1, like, what did you learn? That's it, every single day. And for me, focusing on these small things, especially when the days are really hard, of just like, okay, what am I grateful for? We were kind of talking about this before we started the episode. Like, what am I grateful for? My dog, I have this apartment over my head, this roof over my head, and I'm alive. Yeah. Those 3 things, if I can just I don't have to do anything, but just like that small little micro movement of just recognizing. And then hopefully it expands out a little bit. And that muscle of learning to like find that empowerment, the gratitude, the joy is really hard. And so, the little nugget of wisdom is like, it doesn't have to be massive. I offer this at the top of all of my master classes that I teach. If I do a body scan with folks, it's like to set an intention. And the rule of this is it has to be something you will accomplish in the next whatever time we're together. So it could be literally immediate, as in I am taking a purposeful breath. And if that's the thing that you need to do right now so that you accomplish this thing, then do it. Or if it's, I will ask 1 question this entire class, or I will write 1 thing down that matters to me, or I will like, put my hand over my heart and just like feel my heart, like whatever, something that you will know that by the time you exit this class, you will have done it. It's a gift to yourself to be able to set that intention that you will do. So don't make it hard. And so really dialing it 17 steps back. Like, yes, you want to write the entire play.
Yes.
How about you give yourself 2 minutes, not even 5, not even 10, not even 30, not an hour. Give yourself 2 minutes right now. You're at your computer. Just open up a document and just type for 2 minutes without having any ideas. Just free flow for 2 minutes. It has nothing to do with this play. You just wrote for 2 minutes. The end. You did it. Congratulations. Like, dialing it back 1 minute. If that's too hard, do 30 seconds. Like make it so easy that you train your body and your spirit to know that you can. And that's really hard because in a society that really glorifies success and progress being massive, these micro movements are not necessarily looked at as growth.
Growth. Or like having, I don't want to say valid because they're very valid. I know they're valid, right? But to a society, right? That they don't have weight to them.
Yes.
Right.
But if you do that every single day, you do a minute every single day on your computer, a single minute, guess what? I can't do math, but if I looked at, 365 days a year, that's 365 minutes. I don't know what that computes into in terms of hours, but, 60 minutes in an hour, 360, that's a good amount of hours.
Exactly. I was trying to do the math too, but yes, that's a good amount of hours. Yeah.
That's some hours. Those are some hours that that probably is actually, is that really bad math? That was really bad math.
Hold on. Wait, 60?
A minute a day. This is why we're artists.
This is why we're artists. Okay. This is why
someone's going to be in your someone's going to be in your comments being like, stay in your lane.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Stay in your, I'm like, I'm trying. That was why this is where we're here.
I'm trying.
But my point is, no matter what the math ends up being, this is time that you invested into yourself in a way that was so micro that became really macro by you sticking with it. And then you get to look back on yourself and be like, I did that.
Yeah.
Like that small, beautiful little nugget that was so hard. I did that. And I would imagine as you continue doing that 1 little minute, then it becomes a 2 and then it becomes a 3 and then eventually it becomes a 6 and then it becomes a 20 and then it becomes an hour. Right. And look at that. Now you're consistently writing. Right. Getting back to the basics. Right. Dial it back.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Dial it back. Dial it back. And I like have latched onto what you said about teaching yourself that you can, right? Like letting your body know, no, you can, we can, right? Like this is very much within our power, within our wheelhouse, within our urgency, right? Yeah. And I love the phrase, and I was reminded of this a couple of weeks ago. I was like, oh, I needed that. Thank you. Like if you think you can't, then you can't.
Yeah.
But if you think you can, then you can.
Yeah.
Right.
And then what are those steps that allow you to continuously actually like full embodied believe that you can, not just conceptually in your gorgeous brain,
right? Like
in your body, your body also believes I can, and I will.
Right.
And I have, and I will continue to.
Right.
And it really, I do think it goes back to just like really small little micro movements. A kid doesn't learn to walk immediately. They literally just start putting their little toes down first and then just like lifting up their little calves. And then they start holding on to things and just lifting up their cute little butts. And then like, this thing doesn't happen overnight. If you're trying to do something like, and rewiring your brain that's like lived on this planet for some time and done things a certain way, it's gonna take some time.
Right.
Patience,
grasshopper, patience. Right.
I tell that to myself all the time, and I don't give myself it. But
you and me both. Right.
Yeah, fully practicing what I'm preaching, but I know it to be true.
Right. But it's patience. It's giving yourself grace, like you said earlier, and just. It's not done overnight. It's done in those micro things. And like, again, even when you were talking about, brought me back to the movement you mentioned in the beginning, your body reacts to movement, right? Like we know this. So even, I haven't thought about this in a long time, but in grad school, I had a movement teacher who wouldn't let us use electronic devices. I went to grad school in 2013. So I had an iPad. Everybody had computers. I went to the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland.
Amazing.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. And I had an iPad. People have their computers, yada, yada. And in class, she said, in my class, you will use a pen and paper. She said, because there is a connection between you writing and your body and your brain and literally starting to get that thing into your memory. So whatever it is you need to write down, whether it's a note, whether it's a blocking, whether it's how you want to, think about this when you say this line. What's my intention? She said, I don't care what it is. There is a connection between you physically writing the thing and in your body, right? And
it's literal science.
Yes.
It's literal science. That I also, again, another topic that somebody will come at you in the comments where I don't know, but I know it's science. Right. So I don't know the scientific research, but I know that there is one.
There is one. There is one. There is one, right? Which is also, I mean, this is a whole nother podcast episode, but like why our phones are great, but also detrimental, right?
Horrifying.
Or I'm just going to make a note. When I'm like, I force myself now to have a planner and write it, but also like in my Google Calendar, right? Like I still have journals. I'm like, I fight myself between the write it down. But I also like put it in my phone, right?
There's also something so satisfying about like for me with like a written thing, if I have a checklist, which I do, I mean, sometimes, the home sometimes looks like a beautiful mind, like truly like how many notes do you have and why are the Post-its everywhere about the things you need to do? But like when you get to cross that thing off, that's a great feeling as opposed to just like deleting it off your calendar, which I've done, or like your notes app or whatever, or little check mark. Not the same. It's not the serotonin is different.
It's not the same.
Dopamine hit, it's different.
Very different. Very different. Oh yes. Oh yeah. I have a whiteboard and a planner that I get to cross off.
Yes. I'm like, we live.
I live for it. I live for it. Yes. Oh, Jennifer, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you
for having me. I know I can get like a little existential and, but that's, these are my favorite kinds of conversations personally. And I'm so grateful that you hold space for this. And I really do think, for folks who tune in regularly or are tuning in now, like to really investigate with a curious lens, not a judgmental lens, like what pivoting means for them and whether they actually have, whether that's like a massive shift or whether it's like micro things of, I've done this thing and I never thought I would, or I tried this thing and I never thought I would. That in and of itself, like, is the pivot. And I think the more of us who are able to like hear these conversations and rewrite the literal verbiage around what that means, the more we will all be able to like see one another and glide through the world, hopefully with less judgment and more empathy and care. So thank you for holding this space.
Yes. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for joining me. Before I let you go, where can everybody find you out here on the interwebs?
Yeah. So you can always go to my website. That's jenniferapple.net. That's what happens when you have fruit for a last name. But on that, you'll find all my actor-related links, as well as my coaching, if that were something that you were interested in working with me one-on-one or master classes. And you will also have a page for like my writing, and you'll also have the page for my podcast, where you can hear episodes like this or episodes of my Empowered Artist Collective podcast, which has its own website, which is empoweredartistcollective.com. That has all of our past episodes and more information about certain things that you can browse through there. And then on Instagram, which is where me and the podcast are most active, you can find me at @JenniferApple_. And then for the podcast, it's at Empowered Artist Collective. And I'd say that those are probably the best ways. But you can also always email me if something resonates at jenniferapplecoaching@gmail.com.
Perfect. I will make sure all of that is in the show notes so that it's easily clickable, everybody.
And also one fun thing that I can also share with your listeners, but I do, for anybody who is an actor and they do struggle with perhaps finding monologues, I have this free resource. It's a monologue selection toolkit so that people like know where to look on their own, because it can be really overwhelming. And so I'd love to gift that little freebie to your listeners as well, so that they can find monologues on their own in the best way possible.
Yes. I love that. Thank you. Thank you. And I must say to you that I acknowledge you, I celebrate you, and I uplift you.
Ugh, love. And it's reciprocated right back at you. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And coming up on the next episode of the Artist Pivot podcast.
Hi, I'm Lynn Harris, and I'm on the Artist Pivot podcast. It took me a while to find my lane as a founder because I thought that I had to sort of pivot my identity entirely. And I strategically used the word pivot then. But I was like, okay, I'm a founder now, which I am. And, but it took me a while to kind of understand that that didn't mean that I had to give up really feeling, truly like the kind of artist and, creator that I am.
This show is hosted and produced by me, Ayana Major Bay. Show editor is Kieran Niement. Show theme song lyrics written by Ayana Major Bay and Melissa Victor. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this show with your friends.